Peace to everyone. I am your hostess, Joy Allen, and we are on my platform today, The Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty. And today's topic, we will be discussing business insurance. Make sure, my intent is to make sure everyone is properly covered for the unforeseen possibilities that the insurance can cover. I have seen recently people experiencing they have experienced fires. I saw the fire, and I saw other damages and things people don't even think of that can happen to you and or your business, and that could like delay the flow of your traffic, the flow of your business, and or just be what looks like the end, the complete shutdown of your business. And so it's my intent to prevent all of that for everyone, doing my part to share this information with you all today. And so before we get started, I am addressing the platforms that we're streaming on today besides mine. So to continue, I am also not only streaming on YouTube on the Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty. I am also streaming on my Facebook page, Joy Allen, and I am streaming on my Periscope account, MKD TNT. I am also on my humble brother Crumb's platform, Crumb TV platform. And I am also, so with Crumb TV, we are streaming on his YouTube channel, The Branch of Knowledge. We are also on his Periscope account as well. We are also on my humble brother Tasmaniac Wolf's platform on YouTube, The Taz Show, and we are also on his Periscope account, and it's called Tasmaniac G. Tasmaniac G. All right, and that's everybody here. All right, so now today I have a special guest joining me. Hold on here. All right. Today I have a special guest joining me, and his name is Cliff Johnson. And he is an independent insurance agent, and he will be providing you with more information. I see that he has attempted to join the studio, and so there's plenty of other things that we can cover until he gets here. So let me check real quick. We're in with him. Okay, so he's fine right now. All right, so also in the description you will see ConscienCED listed there. ConscienCED is not able to join us today, but he said he'll be back next Saturday. Saturday we have a show planned for 1 p.m. and so we will post that information and get that out to you. I would suggest, as with all of these topics, that you join us for next Saturday as well. We will have Marcia Harris Owens with us next Saturday also. Now, I do my best to bring and speak on topics that I'm familiar with. And Cliff is here now joining us. Hold on.
I apologize, everyone.
You good, Cliff? Pretty straight. All right, how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Very good, very good. Now I'm not sure if you noticed, I'm gonna show you something right quick so you know it's there. Okay, so I had to share your banner, your brand, your company logo with everyone. So they saw that at the opening of the show. I already briefly spoke with everyone about who you are. Would you tell everyone who you are and where they can find you?
Sure, thank you. My name is Cliff Johnson, and I'm the owner of Cliff Johnson Insurance Agency, CJiA Agency. Our offices are located in Indianapolis, Indiana. That's 3902 North College Avenue is our physical location. Website, CJiAgency.com is where you can find us on the website. We're located in 4 states, So we work out of Georgia, Alabama, Indiana, and Michigan. We do have life insurance in California, where we can write life insurance for any California people on the line. But that's how you come in contact with me.
Thank you, Cliff. All right. So, would you share with everyone how you got about some of the benefits of having business insurance?
Okay, sure. I got a little cut off there, but I heard the business insurance side.
Yeah, there's something going on here. Yes, if you would share with everyone how you got started in the insurance business.
Okay, sure. I got started in the insurance business going on about 8 years ago. Before that, I was a real estate broker. I had been a real estate broker for 20 years in Indianapolis, Indiana. And during that time period, Congress enacted what's called RESPA, which is Real Estate Settlement Procedure Act, and it allowed real estate agents to share in other sides of the real estate transaction. In the past, I would send my business to an insurance agent because at the time, a real estate agent couldn't do both sides of the transaction. After RESPA, we were able to do both sides. So I brought on an insurance agent to set up the infrastructure for the insurance side of the real estate company. During that time period, this is a time period during 9/11, after, and then also the real estate market collapse. And at some point, the insurance side started outperforming the real estate side of the business. So I got licensed in insurance and focused more on the insurance side versus the real estate side of the business, which is kind of how I got into the insurance business. From there, I wanted to provide a quality service to the community, and especially the Black community or African American community, because I wanted to make sure that we got the better products that were out on the market, and not some of the products that I've seen in the past that my grandmother and others in our community were being offered. So that's kind of how I got into the business, more of servicing one side of another business I had. But I fell in love with the insurance industry. It's an industry that's ever changing, that you have to kind of be on top of your game with and know the ins and outs to better serve your people. So that's how I got into the business.
Okay, thank you. And could you share with everyone the benefits of having business insurance?
Sure.
They may not know.
Okay, sure. Well, business insurance covers several areas. The most important area of business insurance is liability. So the general liability side of business insurance covers what harm you may do to someone else. That's if you hurt someone, cause harm, and it could be anything, even like someone could say that your marketing was deceptive. In the sense that how you got them into the doors of your business. So if they claim harm, the general liability side covers harm, not just physical harm. It also covers marketing, any loss that you may, or any harm that you may do to someone else. The other side of the general liability is going to be, of the business insurance, is going to be dealing with property that you own, or property that's in your possession of someone else. So what I'm saying there is, property that you own could be your building, your assets that you use to run your business. Believe it or not, the paperwork and forms that you use to run your business. Intellectual property that belongs to you, that if someone could give them a strategic advantage over you. That's all a part of the business insurance product. And why it's important is, some of the hurt or hardships that can come to a business are hard to recover from, if not impossible to recover from, without insurance. Think about during this pandemic, when an act of the government shut down a lot of businesses and their main source of making money, which is having customers walk through their door. As long as you have the proper insurance for that, to cover that loss of business, your paycheck kept coming. and not just your paycheck, but also maybe assistance to help your employees as well. So business insurance is there for just that, to protect your earning potential for your business, and also to protect your customers from harm that you may cause, and also to protect your personal assets from harm that your business may cause, because we live in a very suit happy society. So anyone can sue you for anything, whether they're right or wrong. A lot of cases go to court where people actually are found not harmed by the court system, but without insurance, you sometimes it's cheaper to settle a claim that is not righteous than to actually fight it in court. Insurance will allow you to fight it and keep your name and reputation.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to go to the comments and address some of those who are here with us. We have my sharer, because he says he's not an admin. Abdiel Ben Levy L, he says already, ready already. He's the first to be here. He was here a little early. We also have my brother Tasmaniac Wolf. We are streaming to his platforms today as well. He says peace and love. Peace to you, Tasmaniac Wolf. I call him Taz. Straight Pink 40 from YouTube says hi, peace to you. And we welcome you all to the show, and I'm glad you all are here. Before Cliff came in, I was speaking on, okay, I do my best when I bring topics to the show to discuss things that I have experienced, so I can say, yep, that works. So Cliff Johnson is my insurance agent, and he has provided me with business insurance. And based on my experience, we're going to talk about some of the coverage that I know works, and I know I've heard a story or two. Cliff gives illustrations and examples, so I want to share a few of those that I recall to assist everyone with knowing the benefits, and I speak on the urgency of having insurance for your business. So we're going to talk about that now. Cliff, could you tell us, because in my insurance policy, I have property coverage options. So there's options outside of the regular policy, and the option I chose was equipment breakdown. Could you speak to us about that coverage option?
Sure, I sure can. So equipment breakdown coverage covers things of value that you need to stay in operation. I'll use an example of a restaurant that they have deep freezers where they keep their meat or different products that they need to keep on ice. If that freezer goes out, not just the meat product or the food that's in the freezers can spoil, and you'll lose that loss, but also the cost of repairing that equipment. So any equipment that's valuable to your business that you need to keep up and operational, you can insure that. You can insure against that breaking down. And that's what the equipment breakdown covers for you. And not just, I'm using that as an example, but it could be anything. It could be a valuable computer for a photographer. It could be a camera. For a lawn care company, it could be the lawn equipment. So you want to make sure that anything that you use in your business that is valuable to you operating your business, that you have it properly insured.
And speaking of the now everyone, I don't know how much Cliff wants to share with you all, but I'm going to tell you some things. So in the cover photo for today's topic, I have a firefighter putting out a fire. So I had a few options to choose from, but then I saw that, I was like, duh, yeah, we're going to use that. And with that in mind, there's fire trucks rolling through here right now. So Cliff discussed the deep freezer going out and having issues. One issue that could occur with that deep freezer could be an electrical issue. So that could cause a fire. Cliff, would you like to speak to us possibly maybe about your background?
Oh, sure.
Concerning that? Okay.
Absolutely. Well, my background, I have been a firefighter for 22 years. And part of that occupation comes with seeing a lot of loss, a lot of tragedy, a lot of bad situations. I come in contact with people sometimes on the worst day of their life. And seeing that and being a part of that also helped lead me to the insurance side of the business as well. For years on the fire service, I investigated fires, and I would see people just in such how much pain it caused when they had a fire. It could be a simple fire in an apartment. And as much as we think that as long as we have our life, we're okay, and that is the most important thing. But after your life and your family's life and all that comes, where are you going to sleep at? What are you going to eat? What are you going to put on your back, your shelter, your clothing? And when tragedy like that happens, I feel just horrible when I see some of the cases that I've been on, some of the fires I've been on, where they have to depend on the Red Cross or what we call victims assistance to find them a place to live for sometimes months at a time. And believe it or not, sometimes I've seen cases where people literally never recover from a loss like that. I mean, if you lose all your worldly possessions, all the cash, it's hard to recover. So insurance in that sense is designed to make you whole. And in this occupation, as my mother used to say, I can go and put the fire out, investigate the fire, but also insure against the fire. So it seems like all the hats that I wear kind of align with my purpose of actually helping people to avoid risk.
Yes, and I have some other points that I know about you and your professional, your path that got you to where you're at today. So you can share if you like. It may come up in discussion like now, but that's entirely up to you. I'm not going to pry into your professional side, your path.
I'm open. I'm open.
Okay, open.
All
All right.
right. I said I'll share with my community anything that may help someone else.
Okay. So and so I've had a series of business topics for some time now, and I shared the links to those in the description of the video. So I had a part 1 and part 2 of a women's business expo. I had a part 1 and part 2 of a men's business expo, and I've added in some I had an economic empowerment video with Brother Crumb, and I have also had some tax advice along the way for everyone for their business. Now, we speak at times on those topics. I spoke about multiple streams of revenue. So as you've heard, if you were listening, Cliff Johnson does have multiple streams of revenue. So it's very important, I think, to have those. And people approach me and they're like, how do you do all of that? And I'm like, how do you not do all of that? And so it's not only me, there are many of us who have multiple streams of revenue, and Cliff Johnson is one as well. So again, if he goes into some of those streams, I am welcoming his sharing that with you all. So moving forward, now, Cliff, in my insurance, it's a commercial package. Are there other types of business insurance, or is it only or is only the commercial package available?
Okay, no, there are all types of business insurance, and it ranges from the gamut of insuring a professional athlete's body parts, like a running back's legs or a singer's vocal cords. That could be considered a business insurance product. But it also there's what's called a BOP policy, BOP, business owner policy, that is a kind of what I say of risks that aren't hard to insure, like a barbershop, beauty shop, things that we would call like a cookie cutter type business that everyone kind of does the same thing, is state regulated as far as your licensing and regulations, as far as how you have to set up and operate. Those are easy to insure. So we would insure those under BOP policy. There are policies that are more complicated where we actually have to custom design the policy to fit the person's needs based off their need and position and what they're trying to do with their business. There's also business policies that cover if you run a non-for-profit and the directors and officers need to be insured against decisions that they make. That's called D&O. So directors and officers insurance. There's an insurance product for someone that has a professional license, like a doctor, that needs to be covered against malpractice. Malpractice, or what they call errors and omissions insurance. Anyone that has a license, like in real estate insurance or dentist, will need that malpractice or E&O, professional liability insurance. So the business insurance world runs the gamut of anything that anyone could possibly do to me for themselves or for their family or their business. There is an insurance product to insure that.
Could you tell us about cyber liability coverage? Because I have that in my policy as well.
Absolutely. So cyber liability policies will cover you against cyber attack and identity theft and theft of intellectual property. But it also can cover against someone not just using your ID and pretending to be you, but actually to come back and make you whole after that. A lot can be done if someone steals your ID. I mean, they can open up accounts in your name all over the world. And to actually cover the cost of going and getting that done would hurt just about any business. I don't care who you are. I mean, we've heard of some of the large cyber attacks against major companies, Fortune 500 companies, where cyber criminals have actually held the company's data hostage, and the company had to pay the attacker to get their information or their website back. Normally that's covered by an insurance product. If it's not covered by an insurance product, whatever that person demands, if you want your access to your site back, I mean, you have to pay it. And what's sad is that even government entities have been cyber attacked where they've stolen data and made the government entity pay them to release their data. So cyber liability is just that. So it was unheard of probably 10, 15 years ago because we were not using computers to the extent that we're using them now. So as new things come up that need to be insured against, those products are being created as we speak.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know when we met and we talked about the cyber liability and the ID theft, because I had coverage. The coverage is for the students for my technical school. And there was, I forget right now, but you'll remember probably, there was something about they could get a credit score, something to do with identity theft. And there was this, if there was identity theft, they can, you know what I'm talking about? Could you talk about that? Okay.
Yeah. So what happens, let's say you run a business, you have a list or a database of customers, you got their name, you got their birth date, their social security number, and someone hacks that. It's not just you that now have been damaged, but it's every person that's in that database. And by law, you have to protect the people, you got to protect the data that's in your database. So what that insurance policy would help provide is for a monitoring service for the next couple years to make sure that no new accounts are set up in any of your customers' names. So it would be like SureLock or some of these identity theft protection. The insurance policy would actually cover the cost of signing up every last one of your customers for that service so that it can lock their credit report so no one can open up credit in their name because of the data breach from your business.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'll hurry up and say, yep, I'll take that.
Yeah, good product.
Yeah. And also now some people have brick and mortar and they own it or they're leasing it, however. Now for those, for my policy, I have a damage to rented premises.
Mm-hmm.
So could you speak to us about that? Because
Sure.
some people might think if they're renting, then they'll have, if they're renting a building, then they can have renter's insurance. Is there a difference between a renter's insurance and damage to the rented premises part of the policy?
There is. So on the business side of it, every general liability policy comes with what we call fire legal liability, or that premises rented that you rent. Normally it's 100 to 150,000. It can be bumped up depending on what you need based off the building. But what that does is, let's say that your office in a large office complex, you have a device that causes a fire, you're considered liable for causing a fire in that building. What that part of the policy does is it makes the landlord or the person renting space next to you, it makes them hold if you're found to be responsible for whatever caused the damage to their unit or to their building. So that is built into your general liability policy or your business policy automatically here in the state of Indiana. It may be nationally, but since I only deal in 4 states, I know different states may have different regulations or rules, but for the most part, that is in every single general liability policy, is that you're going to have some fire legal liability for premises that are rented to you as a business. That is really good to have, because sometimes you may function outside of your business. You may lease a space just for a small event. That policy goes with that wherever you go. So it goes with you. You hold it in the name of your business to you're taking your clients to you're going to cater to them for a special night, client appreciation night, and you're going to rent an event hall. You can use that part of the policy to cover that up to that $100,000 and up to your legal liability limits on your, as far as your aggregate.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to say, because that part of it where you mentioned it travels with you, so to speak, and with building the policy, there is so much information, and then not knowing or being a subject matter expert like yourself, it all clouded. It's like, what, Cliff? What are you saying? Hold on, Cliff. Let me take out my notes, Cliff. So for everyone, if this is not your subject matter, you're not the expert, and even if you are, consult with Cliff. I strongly advise you to. And I would say to not let all of this information keep you from the importance of having a policy. Cliff is, and all of his agents, I've worked with a few of them, and I'm familiar with all of them. So you can contact and speak to any one of them. They speak to you, and just as Cliff does, similar. They all have their personalities and things, of course, but they are all professional. They will work with you, and they will speak to you. They don't speak over your head. They speak to you in terms you can understand, and they'll work with you in whatever manner to where you can gain the understanding for your specific needs for your business. And with that being said, Cliff, could you speak to us about the benefits of being an independent agent versus another type?
Absolutely. I am an independent insurance agent, so I represent many companies, name brand that are household names, some that you may have never heard of. But the difference between independent, captive, and a direct writer, those are the 3 forms that most people get their insurance: independent, captive, and direct writer. The independent agent is not a fiduciary. That's a big word. I hate to use it, but that's the legal term. But what it means is I don't owe them all of my loyalty. I'm not a fiduciary of a particular insurance company. I will treat them fair. I'll give them the proper information to quote it to the best that I can, talking to my client. I actually reverse it, and I'm a fiduciary to the client. I want to make sure that when I represent you, I give you the best product for you. And sometimes it's hard conversation. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it's, well, you need this, and I kind of work with you on how to get the best product for your needs within your budget. Which, as a captive agent, I couldn't do that. I can only sell you. A captive agent can only sell you the product that the agency that's holding them captive allows them to sell you. There's a difference. I don't represent just one company, so I want to sell you the best product, regardless of the company. And sometimes it may be more than one company that offers the best mix of what you need, and I'm able to do that. Whereas a captive agent can only sell you what they have, no matter what the price, the terms, or the conditions. That's my role. And the same thing with a direct writer. Direct writer means that that person is actually an employee of that insurance company, whereas a captive can still be an independent contractor, but they're held captive. It's kind of like being in slavery. They're held captive, but they can only do what their slave master tells them to do. I've always said I'll never be in slavery again, and my people should not be either. Independence, in my opinion, is the best way to go, because now when I represent a product to my community, I know that it's the best product for them.
Mm-hmm. And we appreciate you doing that. Some of us don't even know it, but they appreciate you. I'm gonna say it for them. They appreciate you. Now, I have a watch party going on in Facebook, and so that comment is not showing up in the panel, so I can't share it on the screen. So Marcia Harris Owens, but on Facebook she's Marcia Owens Harris, because they want to allow her to change her name the way she wants it. She says, what does my grandson need to sell kale chips in multiple business locations? I was going to speak on young entrepreneurs and types of coverage they may need that varies from coverage that adults would have. Could you speak on the coverage types, if there are any differences because they are minors, and also address Marcia's question of what her grandson needs to sell kale chips in multiple business locations?
All right, that's a good question. So doesn't matter how old you are, as far as minor or not. If you're in business and you're selling a product, you want to insure yourself from any risk that may occur. In fact, the younger you are, if there is a major lawsuit, the longer they have to collect. So you don't want someone garnishing your wages from the time that you're a youth to you're older without having proper insurance. And whenever you're selling a product, whether it's kale chips or a cell phone that you manufacture or candles, you want a product that covers that product from liability, that covers whatever you sell as far as a liability product. And then if he's selling kale chips under his brand, or if he's wholesaling them, or what they call generic selling, where they can put a different label on it, that would make a difference as what type of business insurance he would want also, or what's provided by insurance providers. So I'll use an example, since I do insure a company that sells chips, snacks, pies, different things. First, wherever he's manufacturing his products at, you want to make sure he has enough liability, that fire legal liability that Sister Joy talked about. You want to make sure that he has enough to cover wherever he's manufacturing it at. Next, you want to make sure that he covers enough insurance, has insurance to cover him for anyone that may say that they're sick. I'm not saying that they are actually sick, but say that they got sick from his product, right? Anyone can sue you. So you want to make sure you have coverage in an amount that's enough in case someone says they get sick, or their family says they got sick and they died because of your product. So normally you want $1 million to $2 million to cover that. And actually, since I know this business with the chip manufacturer, I actually have someone that makes bean chips. And normally with that insurance, it's a really, believe it or not, it's a simple product to sell. It would be under what's called a BOP policy, and it would be a manufacturer's policy. If he's delivering the chips to different locations, or if he's paying someone to deliver the chips, you want what's called hired auto to make sure that his product is getting there. You want to insure the product while it's in transport. So some kind of auto policy goes with that BOP. If he's using his personal car, you want to bump up the limits because for some, of course, when you talk business, the lawsuits are greater when it comes to a business hurting someone versus an individual person, it seems like. And then wherever it's being retailed at, wherever you're retailing your product at, if you're going to have space in that retail establishment where you're setting up machinery or you have a cooler, I don't think with kale chips you would have any special needs to put any specialized equipment in there, but you would, if he does, you'd want that insured also. And one of the most important parts for any manufacturer is what's called products completed insurance. Very important, and that's probably the most important as far as a kale chip manufacturer, is that once you get done with a product and it leaves your manufacturing facility, that's called a completed product. You want to make sure that that product is insured for its lifespan, and that product's completed. And here's an example. Let's say he sells kale chips for 5 months and they have a shelf life of a year. But within 5 months, he decides to manufacture some other type of product, but his product is still on the shelf in stores. You want that product to be insured basically for as long as someone can consume it, not just when your business is operational, but even years after your business may have shut down. So that's called products completed, and you want it to be geared towards the claim happening if it was manufactured while you own the company. It sounds funny because we're talking about kale chips, but if you can imagine cars, motorcycles, devices that you have in your home. I've seen a case where a heater manufacturer was out of business, no longer in business, and they went out of business because the heaters were causing fires. But that insurance product still covered that completed product forever. Very important, because if someone's hurt 20 years from now from your product that you've gone out of business, they're going to come back after whoever manufactured it if the insurance company can't make them whole. So products completed is very important in anything that you manufacture. Sorry to be so long on that, but I think that was a good question.
Take your time. Take your time. We need all this information. Mm-hmm. Was there anything more you want to share on that, Cliff?
No, I think that would be thank you. I appreciate the question, but that would be definitely talk to any insurance agent should be able to guide you towards that. And one of the things that's important when you start talking insurance for those products is know the breakdown of your materials and the cost of all your materials that go into making that product, because you want to ensure your inventory for making that product as well. So everything that's in your inventory to manufacture those chips it is insurable, and you want to have that insured in case the facility where you're making it goes down. That inventory cost can be astronomical depending on how much you have on hand.
Thank you, Cliff. Now, a little information about the kale chips and her grandson's business, for clarity and information and educational purposes. So Keon is her grandson's name. He is 10 years old, and they are located in Virginia. Would she be able to contact you for information?
I will definitely provide information, but I'm not licensed in Virginia, so I can't sell your product, but I can definitely guide you or even review a policy that you may get to just see if you have everything that I think possibly go wrong with the business, especially with your grandson being 10. You want to make sure that you protect him as best you can.
Yes, and I'm working with her and others of us. She has formed a team, and so we're working together to make sure that that's correct. And I've also referred you out to her before today. Or she contacts you, I referred her to you. Now, we're further speaking on Keon's Organics right quick. This is my third bag. I've been eating them. It's Keon's Organics kale chips, organic kale leaf, olive oil, Himalayan sea salt, smoked paprika. This is a 2.5 ounce bag. They're $10 a piece. And this is Keon's information if you would like. And these chips came again from Virginia to Indiana, and they're crunchy. The bag was full. They're great. So contact, use this information as a contact to get your kale chips and support our young entrepreneurs. That's my commercial for the day. All right, now speaking on commercial, and you spoke about other things recently that are in that go along with this question right here. So I have in my policy defamation of character, personal and advertising injury. Could you speak more on that as well?
You hurt them or harm them by speaking against them. Normally, you see this in competition where one business talks bad about another business. And let's say that it's not true. You thought it was, or you thought the statements that you were making were true, but they turned out to be false. That person can sue you for the harm that you caused to their business and to their character. So the defamation of character is just for that. If you advertise and you say something that hurts someone else and it hurts their business, you're liable for that. So it will cover you against those type of liabilities. And the false advertisement can be a huge one. You claim a product is good for one thing and it really doesn't help that product. We see that a lot in the healthcare industry. Certain products are claimed to cure certain things and they're not scientifically proven to cure certain things, and someone uses it thinking that they're getting better and actually they're getting worse, or they're not changing, and it's not having the impact or effect on their health that they thought it was. You can see that, and you've seen tons and tons of lawsuits for that, especially in the cigarette industry and different tobacco products. So the insurance, you can get insurance to protect you against that. Now, insurance will not protect you from wrongful acts that you knew willingly, that you willingly did. That's considered criminal in that sense. But it will can protect you from the liability of just making a mistake. And in making a mistake, you hurt someone. So you're liable for that hurting of someone else's business, character, or even their livelihood.
Thank you, Cliff.
You're welcome.
Okay. Oh, right quick. So I received an update. I did my commercial just now, and sometimes we're like, that's not what they said on the commercial. So commercial update. It's no longer Keon's Organics. It's Keon's Naturals. And there is a website that is being constructed, under construction right now. So keonsnaturals.com is under construction. Visit that website. Go to Marcia Owens Harris on Facebook for more information on when that website will launch, and or call the phone number. Keep in contact for updates. Just wanted to clear that up. All right. Now, Cliff, I know that you also are able to issue surety bonds. Okay. Could you tell everyone what a surety bond is and how it may benefit their business?
Okay. Well, a surety bond is basically your word. So when someone says my word is bond, or I'm bound by what I say and my words, that's what a surety bond is. It's an insurance product that binds your word to an agreement, or to a profession, or to a task that you're trying to do, or to a bid. Let's say you bid on something, that's called a bid bond. So any bond product is a product that says you will do what you say you're going to do. And if you don't do what you say you're going to do, then the person that you promised can actually file a claim on your bond to make them whole. So with that being said, with the surety bond, basically in business, you're saying that I'm doing business in a certain state or a certain township or county, and I will honor all of my contracts, all of my words. And if I can't, I got this bond here that will pay the difference if you have to go and hire someone else to complete the task. And most bonds are required by certain municipalities, depending on what job or what role you're taking on.
Thank you. Now, I was not in the comment section, so the question was timely. So we have a question from the audience. Can you speak on sole proprietorship insurance, or does it need to be bonded only?
I sure can. I love this sole proprietorship form of business. I know I got tax preparers and accountants and all that on the line, and I don't want to go against them, but I have a different business background than some. I do think there's a place for LLCs, corporations, S corps, and all the different forms of professional corporations that you can establish. But with a sole proprietorship, you need insurance even more. And bonding is still important if it's required by law, or if for some reason, and this is where insurance actually helps you, if you get into a situation where you can't complete something. So let's say you're a sole proprietor and you're a artisan contractor where you build cabinets or you paint or you put in HVAC systems. Let's say that for some reason since you're a sole proprietor, you're doing all the work yourself. And let's say you get sick or a family member gets sick and you can't complete that job. And now the person that you said you would do the work for and that you've agreed to a price, you can't honor that word anymore, your word on that, because of unintentional circumstances. They could actually hire someone else. And even though that price may be a little higher than what you promised, the bond can help pay the difference so that you don't have to come out of your pocket to pay the difference if you can't afford to. Of course, if you can afford to, then it's probably best to pay it out of your pocket than to have them file a claim on your bond, because that's going to make it harder to get your bond in the future, because bonds are based off of credit. And the way when they run a bond, they run it on credit. And part of credit, they consider character, which is just how have you paid your bills in the past or what's going on in your life. We all face hardships. Hardships come to all of us. And at some point, bond costs can get outrageous because of that. But as a sole proprietor, it's your word and your word alone. So it's not like a business where you can hide behind the corporate structure. It's just you. So in that position, yes, I think a sole proprietor still needs to be bonded. Most of my contractors in the state of Indiana, you don't have a choice. If you're going to be a contractor, you have to be licensed, bonded, and insured. They don't give you a choice. It's required. And the amount of the bond is dictated by statute.
Thank you, Cliff. Now I have spoke with on platforms about staffing your business. Now there's a section that I have not spoken on, I don't think, and we're going to speak a little bit about it today. Ex-offenders. Some businesses do not want to hire ex-offenders or have them as contractors or have them anywhere near their business. And I do know that the business can get a bond and it will cover. So people's fears may be that the ex-offender will steal something and bring a bad name to the business. I know that there is a bond that can be put in place. So if anyone is fearful that the ex-offender may steal something from a client or a customer, that they're covered. The bond covers that. Are you able to speak on that?
Yes. Yeah. So that's true. With bonds, you can bond just about any word you can imagine. There's bonds for large money transfers. There's bonds for just about anything you can imagine where specialty bonds can be created. But a bond as far as against theft of a dishonest employee, you can also insure that as well. But you can write a bond for anything where your word is your bond, as they say. So if you have offenders that may take something or steal something, and you could actually make them get a bond that they will honor their word within your business, that if for some reason they do something wrong, that's called a performance bond. So you want them to bond that they will do what they say they're going to do. So you can get bonds, like I said, just for even down to bail bonds, that I will honor my word to come back to court. If I don't, then you can take this bond. And then, of course, they send a bounty hunter that wants to collect the person so they can get the bond money back. So there's a bond for just about everything. Yes.
Okay. So it sounds like some 5%ers are in the room. Cliff said word is bond earlier. I hear y'all. I hear y'all. All right. So Cliff, I have managed and directed the conversation so far. Are there any points you want to cover and address that we haven't yet?
I want to make sure I hit back on something that you brought up earlier about the streams of income. I think it's important, especially within our community as a people, as a group, whatever faith we may have and different faiths and different things, that we foster a business atmosphere amongst each other, to do business with each other, to support each other, and to help each other. Part of my mission is not just to sell insurance products, but it is to educate and to help my community to grow. And one of the best ways to grow as far as financially is to not compartmentalize your income. Don't, as the old folks used to say, when you're going to the hen house, don't put all your eggs in one basket, just in case you drop a basket on the way back to the house, and now you don't have eggs for that day. What that means is basically, if all of your income comes from one source, when that source is gone, your earning potential, your money's gone. And I think during this pandemic, a lot of people have seen that relying on one job is not good enough. So there is, being in the risk business, I consider risk of loss of income as a risk that I want to protect my family and myself against, and my community against as well. So consider multiple streams of income. And I'm not saying multiple streams where you wear yourself down trying to do 100 different businesses, but maybe two that are passive, maybe another one that is active, and then a couple that where you're silent partners, or where you're minimal partners, maybe sitting on the board for a company to help them make good decisions, using your intellectual capital to help someone, or creating venues like this where we share information and wealth with people, and making sure that we pay it forward and support organizations that are doing good within our community.
And was there anything else, anything more you wanted to speak about?
Sure. I'll say as far as insurance is concerned, and the business, consider insurance when you start your business along with any other area of expertise. So you want to get legal advice, you want to get your accounting advice, you need an insurance advice. Most times, the people that offer advice, if you're using their product, you get the advice for free. You may say, well, how's it for free since I'm paying for the product? The knowledge that comes along with that is invaluable. I'll use the example. When someone comes to me and they're setting up a certain type of business, I may have insured 5 or 6 people with the same type of business. And as long as they don't have a problem with me sharing, I will share what has been successful for them or what has hurt them. And believe it or not, I've seen so many people that have businesses or that have come to me, hey, I want to start a business, but I don't know what to do. And I say, what are you good at, or what do you like to do? And I have someone that I'm insuring or that I'm working with or consulting with as a business consultant to guide them to it and make those connections. So consider getting an insurance person on your side, and talk to them not just about insurance, but about the business. Very important, because I know some people will go, like the brother that brought up the sole proprietorship. I've seen people set up a contractor business, and then when they found out that they set it up as a corporation, and because they're a corporation, they have to have workman's comp, and workman's comp is outrageously expensive. Now they have to reform their whole business to set it up as an LLC, as a member managed LLC, to avoid paying the workman's comp, because they're not going to file a workman's comp claim on themselves. An insurance agent would know that. An attorney would know that. The attorney will charge you for it. The insurance company will provide it for you because they're insuring you against the risk. So I'm not saying we're attorneys, but having those different areas of knowledge helps you to make your business, gives your business the greatest amount of success. I think that's very important, that all businesses can succeed, all businesses can fail. So give yourself the best possibility for success that you can.
Definitely. And I want the same for us as well. And that's why I continue to bring these topics to the platform and guests like Cliff Johnson. Cliff, so you spoke briefly about COVID and you shared some stories, or you mentioned that you share stories. So one story you shared with me was about a farmer, somebody who has land, and when COVID happened, um, there was a payout or some money that was able to cover them.
Yes.
Okay, could you share that story? Because I don't recall it. Could you share that, please?
Sure, sure. I have a customer that is a farmer. He grows a very unique crop. And when the pandemic hit, and he services restaurants, basically he had product that he couldn't move anywhere. And because of that, he's literally going to lose his farm. And he called, and I'm glad he called me because he just said, for some reason I just thought about, would I be insured against that? And at the time, he didn't know if he had the insurance or not, but I made sure he did. And so it was loss of business insurance. So it actually allowed him, and I'm sorry for that phone ringing, I'm in a different room. So he actually filed the claim, and they covered the losses of his business to make him whole, to keep his income flowing in during the pandemic. And that's the only reason, and he still said that's the only reason that he's still in business and not just has his farm, but has his house that is on the farm, because he lives right there where he farms at. And without the proper insurance, then that would not have been covered, and he literally could have lost everything.
Wow. Yeah, that's the important part of that story that I needed everyone to hear. So let's see. That's all I have for today. That's all the questions I have. That's all the questions from the audience and in the comment section. And so we're going to close out this show unless there's anything else Cliff wants to share with you all.
I would just like to say peace to everyone. I appreciate this opportunity. Peace to Sister Joy. Alan, I really appreciate the opportunity to come and just speak to your audience and to share information, and look forward to it. I don't know if you noticed, I just kind of log in. I've never said anything, but I log in and listen. I'm always I'm thirsty for knowledge, always thirsting for something new and to learn something new. So I just appreciate the opportunity to be in this forum. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Gratitude to Cliff. And no, I didn't notice. If there's not comments, I don't know people looking. That's okay. Because we are friends on Facebook, so I know you've probably seen some of it. So everyone, I appreciate you all being here. I would strongly advise you all to continue to look into my platform from time to time and check out the videos that are business related. I think I posted like 5 or 6 of them in the description with this video. So check out those, and in those you'll see how others in our community work, men and women, and how they work on their businesses and how they keep them successful. And I will continue to bring content to the platform that's business related. So if you have something that you'd like to see here on the Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty platform, let me know, and I'll do my best to bring it here to you all. Again, I appreciate you all, and peace until next time.